Hey guys, welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. Right now we're joined by the enigma who is Ebraheem Samadi. He's the founder and CEO of Forever Rose Cafe, the main crew member of Dubai Bling, for which season 2 will be dropping very shortly, and of course a social media king who is not afraid to tell it like it is. Welcome back to the show. Ebraheem, friend of the show, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So we've been following you from way before Dubai Bling came out with your cafe and all these projects that you have ongoing, and you have remained your candid self since day one. So how, do you get what are the reactions you get for being so unfiltered on social media?
I think people know by now that I don't have a filter. And my dad always told me, your tongue will make you successful and it'll be also your failure. Because they know, I just speak my heart. And I think that in this time and day, we need more people that speaks their heart. Because if you go into social media, you see the majority of people are the same. They just follow what the other person does, and if they do it and it looks right to them, and they'll just copy it. I think we need more personalities who actually reflect of who they are, so that way we can understand their point of view, because I believe all of our brains are wired differently, so we accept things in different ways. And when we express that and we say true to who we are, the world can become a better place.
That's beautiful, because recently you just put a video of Angelina Jolie talking about hiding her horns. So that's something you completely relate to.
Yeah, so I love Angelina Jolie to the extent where I'm like, why do I? Because I just believe she's such a person and she has a voice, and I've always looked up to her because she doesn't care what people have to think about her. She doesn't care who she offends with what she has to say, what she feels, but she speaks from the heart. So I've always look up to her for that. I think it's so important that we look behind and see what we've put out there, what we put on social media, and say, is that really us? So sometimes every time someone meets me, they're like, wait, you don't seem like the person that you are on Dubai Bling. I'm like, yeah, Dubai Bling's a show. It's, obviously I know the camera's there. So, and I know the way the storyline works. But the thing is that when they get to meet me, they understand exactly who I am. So I look back always and I check my posts. I'm like, is that really me? Am I true to myself? Is that who I am? And with the midst of everything that's happening in the world, I'm sure, just like many people, some people have issues sleeping. Some people have reached to the point where they need to get mental help for what they've seen. Because I believe we're entering into a new era that we're seeing something wrong, and it's difficult to speak about it because whatever we can say, another side might be offended, For me, since day one of this issue, I focused always about humanity, because that's what I care about, is humanity. And I realized that if we don't have humanity, then we are no longer called humans. And this is it's very heavy on my chest to go on social media and seeing these videos and seeing these things, and we have to filter and to understand what's true and what's not. So I am committed to my 600 and 3,000 followers. Every single one of them makes a difference to me. And I have to make sure that whatever I repost, first of all, I believe in. Second of all, I have to verify that it's correct.
That's so interesting. And I think it's a really good point about how influencers have a platform now more than ever before. And therefore, your verification of the news is really important. How much of a responsibility do you feel that is to verify the news that you're sharing to your audience?
Oh my God, it's huge, because you could be misleading someone and you completely destroyed that situation because of something that took you only 2 seconds to do, is to repost it. Yeah. So a lot of the videos that I repost, I have to watch it through completely before I repost it, right? Because maybe somewhere down 1 minute through, they could be saying something that I don't agree with, then that person who watches it, that was one of my followers, and they emphasize on that situation. So there's posts that I've put and immediately removed because I got information from my team that was not correct information. And there's some things that I've got bashed for putting, okay, which is certain photos that I believe was a bit of the propaganda. I put my attention onto it. My team investigated and proved that it was actually AI generated photos. So I was very clear to say these are IE generated photos, and they're not true. So a lot of people who are on the opposition side didn't agree with it, and they're upset. They threatened. They said, we're going to email Netflix and we want them to remove you. I'm like, what does Netflix have to do with this? This is my personal opinion. It's not like I'm going on their platform and saying this. You know what I mean? I don't believe that this is tied with this. You know, even with my own work. Like, for example, Forever Rose is quite a popular tourist destination. When the UAE signed the peace treaty with Israel, we had an influx of Israeli tourists who came into our cafe in literally busloads, and we welcomed them and we love having them into our cafe. And a lot of them, they reach out to me and they're like, can you not speak about, you know, the Palestinian conflict? I said, why not?
It is difficult. I mean, of course you understand, because it's not always to do with, like, you know, Israelis. It's obviously like the political party, and it's, you know, like, you don't want to be blamed for the actions of a leader. You
Absolutely.
know? So of course, like, there's a very thin line you don't want to cross with, like, people and associating the actions of some to others. But do you feel like somewhere along the line, it's being so outspoken might affect the viewership of Dubai Bling season 2?
I think that being true to who we are is most important, because it is a reality show. So lying and or hiding the truth or this, I think it's not right. And if anything happens to me in any way or form, if I even lose my business for speaking out, then it wasn't meant to be. I'm a true believer of God, and I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm on this world for a purpose, and I have this platform for a reason, and I think I'm being tested. And when I see something wrong, I can't stay quiet, even if it ruins me, if it destroys me. But at least it's off my chest, because it's going to be more heavier on my chest to live day to day knowing that I cannot speak. Being an American citizen, we were born with a freedom of speech. It's our right. And if that is taken away from me, then I don't know who I am anymore, and I don't know what to do with myself.
You know, we could ask you about, you know, some of the negative reactions that you've gotten, because of course this is tragically the biggest divide of our lifetime. But what I would like to ask is, actually, you're using your platform for a cause. What about some of the positive reactions that you've gotten? Do you know people that you've genuinely touched and inspired with your stories?
You know, one of the things that broke me, what made me, like, I was crying literally for an hour. I never cried like that in my life, is when a 13-year-old Palestinian fan in Gaza sends me a voice note, you know? And she's like, in her accent, she's like, I love you so much. We watched you on Dubai Bling. And when all this is gone and all this is done, we're inviting you to our house for a barbecue. And it broke me because of the resilience that she has and the hope that everything's going to be okay, me knowing that it's not. It broke me inside, and I was like, I'm coming, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And like, what are you going to tell this person? She's a fan, she's looking up to me, and she's not complaining about, you know, no water, no electricity. She's not complaining about bombs flying over her head. She's telling me that when everything's okay, we're inviting me, Ebraheem, you know, from Dubai Bling, to her house for a barbecue, if she still has one, and this is all over. So it broke me, and it's just like, you know, these people they need my voice. They need it more than anything, you know? So I tried my best, like, in the past 7 days. This is, by the way, in Dubai, it's a time for events. We have Dubai Fashion Week, and I politely declined most of the events because I just couldn't see myself doing anything else besides speaking about the situation. I just did one. I had to go to one because it was in contract. I had to do it. And, you know, I went there with wearing all black, and I wasn't in the mood. And like, a lot of people saw it, like they were making videos of me, because, you know, in Fashion Week, you're basically kind of like, you have an audience in front of you, and the people taking screenshots like, Bling, this is not your face. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm transparent. I can't fake being happy, or I'm not, you know, I'm not mentally okay. I want to make sure everything's okay. And trust me, I am for peace on both sides. You know, I want everyone to be in peace. Everyone deserves the right to be in safety. You know, we're so lucky here in Dubai, having everything that more than what we want. You know, I feel safer in Dubai than I do in America. And we take that amazing thing for granted, you know, because people leave their houses not knowing if they'll be able to get back.
I mean, you really touched such an important aspect of privilege over here, but I mean, the story you just shared, it's so heartbreaking, and I can't even imagine what you must, you know, go through every day to read such messages, and so go so deep into the stories of people's lives and what they're going through in Gaza and Palestine right now. But speaking of privilege, what are your thoughts on it, and how do you think people can use their privilege to not just help themselves, but to help others?
I think first of all is spreading the message is very important. A lot of people around the world don't know what's going on. Mainstream media has failed us. You know, I don't believe that they are fair sometimes. It's just copy paste and they just all say the same thing. People now rely on, you know, podcasts or these type of live radio or TV to get their information from. So it's very important that we spread the right message, first of all. I think that donating is quite important to the correct organization. It has to be approved by government, especially here in Dubai. I know there's a lot of different avenues like UAE Red Crescent, Dar al Bil Society. These are, you know, governed by the government. They made sure that the actual money does reach people. I would be very careful in where I send my money to, because a lot of these non-profit organizations, they say they're non-profit. However, the shareholders have very high salaries, and it's just a loop for them to make profit for themselves. Third of all, I'll always keep these people in our prayers and try our best to avoid negativity from online. I'm getting currently at the moment 100 messages, direct messages per minute. And a lot of them I realize they're bots, because if you start to read it, it's basically kind of like AI generated. So it's like talking in loop. So in the beginning, I was like, I wasn't going to answer. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to answer. So I did a few of them, but it was really savage answers. It was just like, you know, someone told me you need to go buy a brain. And my reply was, tell me where you bought yours from because you need a refund.
Oh.
So these are the things that I was posting, and there's a highlight in my Instagram, you know, that says
wasted on bots, these good answers. Disaster.
No, but actually I made sure that the ones, like, I knew the bots, who they were. I can tell because they have a certain vibe, especially to the DP and, you know, the way they write. But like the ones that have like one or two lines that were just like very direct, that I know they weren't, so I would answer those. And I put that in highlights, and I swear to you guys, like, you have no idea. Like, I had people from all over the world saying this is the first time we laughed in 4 days. Like, thank you for this. Like, it took the situation in a positive way, you know, because everyone's really upset about it. But like, I took it in like kind of making fun of what they're doing to me, you know, instead of replying in a very bad way. So it's very important not to engage, because the concept of this propaganda war is, especially in the mainstream media and on social media, is that when they come in to attack you, they're no longer wanting you to speak about the situation. They want to make it personal. So it's actually removing you from what your actual cause is. So remember I told you that I go back and I like to reflect and say who I am, what have I put out there? Am I putting out the right information? Am I making, let's say, too many selfies or whatever? And I'm a very good person at doing selfies. So I actually reduced that. Now I'm like, you know what? I'd rather put out information rather than myself. So people start to understand, well, Ebraheem is having a different aspect. So it's important that you pull yourself back and say, why am I arguing with this person? Why do I have to convince this person? This person is not going to be convinced. Should not waste my energy on them or tire myself with them. Completely ignore. Just ignore and move on to the focus. The focus is humanitarian support for Palestinians at the moment, because they are the ones that are in need at the moment. Whatever happened 7 days ago, that has finished. At the current moment, we're talking about a country, 2.1 million population, no electricity, no water. I just read something recently that they had an agreement to open the border with Egypt, and that has fell through. So this is the current most important thing, and I believe all of the governments in the Middle East and obviously around the world are doing their utmost best to support. And whenever I get like messages, also people are like, oh well, the UAE has signed a peace treaty. I'm like, that's good. When I was one of the first people to want it, because what is it called? It's called a peace treaty. So it's an initiative to stop all this, you know, And I'm for it, and I stand with the governments, especially in this region, because I know they're doing their best. But in the same time, what people don't understand is that they have also a commitment to protect its citizens as well, and never to escalate things in a bad way, and to be diplomatic and to speak about it in a professional way, and to kind of come to a conclusion together, you know, not to escalate it.
It's on the government to be diplomatic.
It has to be, you know, two wrongs don't make a right, you know, and I think that this is the right approach. We're only limited to what we can do as civilians, and I think we have a responsibility as humans, more than anything else, is to speak the truth, not to be like, for example, well, my country doesn't believe in that. I'm an American citizen. America is standing with Israel. I stand with Palestine.
It's tough. I mean, it's so dire. Like, you have Hamas who are not letting civilians cross. You have Egypt that have closed borders. You have Israel who are asking citizens to evacuate. And right now, the only people suffering are the civilians.
This is what I don't understand. So, I was watching an influencer in America. She was like, an Israeli influencer. She was like, Egypt should open its borders and let the Palestinians go there. Yeah, so you can let them to leave and take their land again. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, you can open your borders, put them into Israel, secure them, and then do what you have to do with whatever you got to do.
For those who are positively supporting you, what message do you have for them?
I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. The positive aspect of it, I would say, is about 95%. You know, people like, for example, people like Kylie Jenner, she lost followers, you know. And people like me, I've gained about 6,000 followers in the past things, and that's not the reason why I'm speaking. And I've lost 3 when I first spoke about it, and then I gained afterwards because people said, wait, this guy is like, he's speaking right. And a lot of people who, let's say, didn't like me on the show on Netflix, because not everyone's gonna like you. You're always gonna have this, lovers and haters. A lot of them said, you know what, we love you now. I'm like, why? I'm like, because you spoke. I'm like, obviously, you don't. We say this thing in Arabic is like, it says "Ma ta'araf khayra min sharra," which means you don't know from his good or from his bad until he's tested in situations. So you guys didn't know me long enough to decide if you like me or don't like me, because I have a stand for certain things. Yeah, I'm funny. Yeah, I'm a savage. Yeah, I have my things. But when it comes to a situation where people are being oppressed, you have to guarantee that I'm going to speak up for what's right. And I'm not going to choose sides based on my religion or my nationality or whatever. This does not matter. We are humans before we're anything else. And I'm all for humanity. And
for that 13-year-old girl watching, or anyone watching whose families may be in the situation, or they are in the situation, any message for them?
Don't lose hope. Stay strong. Trust the process. Everything happens for a reason.
Your platform is getting a lot of support for a good reason. You're using your platform for an incredible cause, and we truly appreciate that. Before you leave us, you have to give us a lowdown to Dubai Bling Season 2. When is it dropping, and what's the tea?
I believe that the official release date has not been released, but it's very soon. I know that. I saw the teaser on the platform. If you notice, I didn't repost it because I just didn't feel it was the right time. People don't understand that we filmed many months ago before this issue. And honestly, I was very excited for the release because I worked really hard on it. And when I say I worked hard on it, it means that I've opened my life. People don't understand that when you open your life to the public, you're giving a piece of yourself away that you can't get back. Because you are exposing your family and your emotions to people, and you have to get the backlash, and you have to get, you get love and backlash. So worked really hard on it, but at the current moment, like, as much as excited as I was 2 weeks ago, at this moment, I'm just like, I want to make sure everything's okay in the world. I want the whole world to enjoy it. I don't want us to be in this issue, in this bubble.
Yeah.
And I started this initiative also online, which is Good Morning Palestine. And this was a positive initiative that doesn't choose any side. It's just saying good morning to Palestine to kind of remember them from the morning. And the reason why that is that every morning I woke up in the past like 7 days, I just grabbed my phone to make sure everyone's okay. I don't want to hear that this many more people died, you know? And I sit there and I make sure, has this happened? What's happened? Is everything okay? Like, what can I do? But in all my life, I never felt that I was waiting for like a Superman to come, like as much as I am now. Like I'm watching and I'm seeing all this and I'm like, where's Superman? Where's Batman?
Honestly,
where's Spider-Man?
looking at your story, seems like you are working to be Superman, and you're also working on like Silicon Oasis in Dubai, in the city here itself. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so basically I was getting all this information that a lot of people were getting shadow banned, you know, and one of them is Huda Beauty. By the way, Huda Beauty, this lady, her and Muna, the whole Katan family, I love them. They're so boss. Like this lady was like, oh, we're no longer going to buy your products, you know, in Israel, da, da, da. She was like, I don't want blood money. And her comment was so, you know, strong, and it went viral on social media. So I believe that there'll be a time that, you know, we all should be able to do what we can. And I think that, you know, me, Huda Beauty, and other business people spoke their minds. And the world needs to see our opinions, you know. And trust me, my opinions is not biased. I make my research. I check things out. And I don't mean to offend anyone, but it's just my opinion.
On the Silicon Oasis.
Oh, the Silicon Oasis, sorry. So the Silicon Oasis was basically, like I was saying, people were getting shadow banned. And I would think it was unfair for a lot of people that their voices are being shut down by Instagram or, you know, the platform or TikTok, whatever they are. So I said to myself, you know, we need to get with the officials in the Middle East and the government and to create our own platform where it's free to speak, and you can, as long as it is within the guidelines of the community and respecting everyone and keeping everyone, but not to be silenced, because I think the best thing that happened to the world is these type of platforms where people can go out and speak. But now they're kind of taking it away from us, where we're getting banned or we don't get the views that we used to get. So I said, well, it's maybe a time that we start to create our own platform. And that way, when competition comes in, people start saying, well, you know what, maybe we can't shadow ban these people anymore because they're going to be leaving us and we're not going to have the amount of users as we did before.
So you're creating a platform?
I'm working on it.
Wow, amazing.
I wanna really make it on a big level. I want to make it. All day, like today, while I'm doing my cardio, I'm thinking like, how can I make it more fair? You know, where it's not just for a certain, you know, demographic, whatever, but it's just fair, like without upsetting anyone. And like one of the things, like I remember when I opened a business, like I want to go reserve the name, right? And you can't get the name because like a person goes and reserves like 100 names and they take like these major names. And I was like, when we go into reserve names, you should have a license for that name before you use it. Otherwise, you have to choose another name. So these type of things, like all the issues that we currently see with the platform at the moment, I want to make it better, a better place. Everyone has to be verified. You have to show a form of ID so we can kind of cancel the trolls because, you know.
And the bots.
Oof. Very interesting, and something that we would very look forward to seeing you roll out in the future. But for now, how can people follow you? How can people get in touch with you to see more of what you're sharing?
So my Instagram handle, The Blooming Man. And the word The Blooming Man comes from me always trying to prosper and become better, blooming. All my social media is the same. So TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. And also if any corporate deals or brands or anything wants to reach me, also my email is available in the contact on Instagram. It's the best ways to reach out to me.
So before we go, people need a distraction. So 3 feuds people can look forward to in Dubai Bling. Apart from yours and Zaina's, we have DJ Bliss and Chris Fade. Who's the third one?
Who's the third what?
There is the third feud. Who's the feud with?
Let me just tell you this.
Is this Ebraheem feud?
Let me just tell you this. So from the beginning, from the first episode to the end episode, you're going to be at the edge of your seat.
No, people need a distraction, something to look forward to. You have to tell us what it is. Give them a distraction.
So let's go through the ones that you think you know already.
Zaina Ebraheem. Ongoing.
Back. No problem there. We know that's happening. Next one.
DJ Bliss, Chris Fade.
Public knows we're here for that. And then the
third
final one.
We want to hear from the horse's mouth.
Horse?
From the stallion's mouth.
It's going to be a illusion.
don't want to give any spoilers.
No, you have to. Like, they need
I'm trying
a
to think. I'm
distraction.
trying to think. Hold on.
The world needs this.
Oh God. I think Lujain Amran. She was great. She's a fashion icon.
Yeah.
Her style gets better and better and better. I think all.
That's not a spoiler, though.
Okay, so basically, I think we did really good on our fashion. I think our fashion went up a few, especially for me. Like I was like, there was like, it was so funny. It was just like when I was going to wearing different things, my wife was like, no, yes, absolutely, you know. So I think my mom also she did her part. You know, she's always. My mom's in the safe zone.
So your mom and your wife will feature in season 2?
Yes. You know something about my mom?
Ooh. His wife, finally!
Listen, you know something about my mom was cute is that with all what's going on in the world, you know, the child always looks for comfort from the mother, you know? And while I was going through, because I'm still at it, messaging and this and that, with all this, what's happening in the world, my mom, she looks at me and she looks right into my eyes. She's like, I'm proud of you. And I swear to God, it leashed this lion inside of me that nothing else matters. When your mom looks at you into your eyes and she tells you specifically that she's proud of you, keep going.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's one thing that makes me so happy is that my parents are proud of what I'm doing, you know, in everything that I'm working on, from my job, from my friends, even if you see I'm going to the gym literally every day, trying to stay positive, you know. It's like I'm stuck at home, I don't feel like doing anything, but at least I go to the gym to move my body to kind of release that negative energy, you know?
Yeah.
Well, one comment that's come through is Manhattan Middle East saying they need your voice now more than ever. So we're going to leave it. Manhattan Middle East has said they need your voice now more than ever. So thank you so much, Ebraheem, for being a place that people can turn to. And we really appreciate your time this morning, being so open with your answers. It was great. Thank you so much.
World peace.
Guys, that is all we have time for on the Lovin Dubai show this morning. A massive thank you to Ebraheem for coming in. And we're back with you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.